The movie begins with a guy named Shou-ki, and he's not really the school type. He's always skipping classes and getting into fights with his buddies, but he's really good at swimming. One day, while he's in the middle of a fight at school, he spots a new girl named Yunong-chi. She's super pretty, and he can't take his eyes off her. He forgets about the fight and ends up in the principal's office. He runs into Yong-chi again when she's signing up for school. Shou-ki tries to be all charming and introduce himself, but Yong-chi acts like he's invisible. As time goes on, everyone's talking about Yong-chi because of her looks, and some students annoy her on purpose just to get her attention. There's this guy named Shan-yu, who's like the school's swimming star, and he tries to get close to Yong-chi. But Shou-ki senses that Yong-chi isn't into Shan-yu, so he steps in and gives Shan-yu a good beating, making things super awkward for him in front of Yong-chi. Turns out Yong-chi and Shou-ki are in the same class, and they discover they have a lot in common, like their love for skipping school. So Shou-ki takes the chance to skip classes with her and get closer. So Shou-ki and Yong-chi become good friends, but Shou-ki finds out that Yong-chi really doesn't like violence to solve problems. So he decides to stay away from trouble and fights to make Yong-chi happy. On the other hand, Shan-yu, well, he's still jealous and mad whenever he sees Shou-ki with Yong-chi. He even throws a milk carton at Shou-ki to try and start a fight in front of Yong-chi. But Shou-ki keeps his cool and doesn't fight back because he knows Yong-chi hates violence. Then, Shan-yu challenges Shou-ki to a swimming race. If Shou-ki wins, Shan-yu promises not to bother Shou-ki or Yong-chi anymore, but he'll make Yong-chi wear a t-shirt with mean words on it. At first, Shou-ki doesn't want to do it because he thinks it's not related to Yong-chi. But then Yong-chi surprises everyone by accepting the challenge. She wants to support Shou-ki and help him train. So Shou-ki starts working really hard to beat Shan-yu in the swimming race. On the day of the race, Shou-ki's hard work pays off because he and Shan-yu finish at the same time, and it's a tie. After the race, Yong-chi gives Shou-ki some ice cream and thanks him for trying so hard for her. She even says she would have accepted the punishment even if Shou-ki had lost. This surprises and angers everyone because they didn't expect Yong-chi to be so supportive of Shou-ki. As time passes, Shou-ki and Yong-chi spend a lot of time together, and their love for each other grows stronger. Shou-ki even walks Yong-chi home sometimes after they finish school. Yong-chi always encourages Shou-ki to stop being lazy and focus on his studies and swimming, so he can achieve his dream. She tells him that she has her own dream too. She loves painting and wants to be a fashion designer. One day, while they're at the beach, Yong-chi sees her father's car and gets scared. She hugs Shou-ki and hides behind him. The next day at school, Yong-chi is not there, and Shou-ki worries about her. After school, he goes to her house to check on her. To his surprise, Shou-ki finds out that Yong-chi's mother's house has been vandalized, and her father was involved. He learns that Yong-chi and her mom are trying to escape from her abusive father. They have to leave their home and find a new place far away. That night, Yong-chi calls Shou-ki and apologizes. She had to push him away because of the tough situation at home and felt ashamed. She thanks him for the good times they had and says goodbye without telling him that she's leaving town. So Shou-ki gets a strange feeling from something Yong-chi said and rushes to her mom's place, but she's gone. Shou-ki feels really sad after Yong-chi leaves, and he stops caring about school and swimming, going back to being lazy. A few years later, Shou-ki finishes high school and works as a cafe manager. One day, a friend tells him about their experiences at university and shows him pictures of girls from there. Shou-ki sees Yong-chi in one of the pictures and finds out she's at the same university as his friend. He decides to study hard and get into that university because he doesn't want to lose Yong-chi again. After months of studying, Shou-ki passes the university entrance exam where Yong-chi goes to school. But when he gets there, he's shocked to find out that she's dating another guy named Moon-wen. Moon-wen is popular because he's the captain of the university's football team and good-looking. Shou-ki feels really sad and frustrated because it seems like his efforts were for nothing, and he won't win Yong-chi's love, but he's not giving up. He's determined to win her back and fight for her love. So it's Yong-chi's birthday, and Shou-ki calls her to say happy birthday and asks her to go out. But Yong-chi says she's tired and can't go. Shou-ki doesn't give up though. He comes up with a different plan. He goes to the top of the university dormitory and shoots fireworks to make it special for Yong-chi. It's a bold move, and Yong-chi is really impressed. A few days later in the library, Shou-ki sees Yong-chi's boyfriend kissing another girl. He finds out that the boyfriend is cheating on Yong-chi and planning to go on a trip with the other girl. Shoki tells Yang-chi the truth, but she doesn't believe him. She thinks he's just jealous, and that makes Shoki annoyed. He confronts Yang-chi's boyfriend, Moon-wen, and gives him a good beating. But instead of thanking Shoki, Yang-chi worries about Moon-wen decides to stay away from Shoki because she doesn't like violent people. After a few years, Shoki gets back into swimming and becomes a pro swimmer. He starts dating a beautiful girl named Mina, who comes from a rich family. One day on his way to swim practice, Shoki sees Yang-chi sitting in a cafe by chance. Shoki goes up to Yang-chi, and it's obvious that she's happy to see him. They exchange phone numbers. Yang-chi tells Shoki that she's working as a fashion designer on her own and is looking for extra work. She also mentions that she broke up with Moon-wen a few years ago. A few days later, Shoki takes Yang-chi for a photo shoot outside the city because he still has feelings for her and wants her back in his life. But things don't go as planned when the advertising director says they found someone better for the shoot. Yang-chi is upset, but Shoki comforts her and they go to the beach to lift her spirits. Yang-chi vents her frustrations by shouting they talk while enjoying the beautiful ocean view. After a few days, Shoki calls Yang-chi and tells her he's going to compete in a swimming race soon. He invites her to come watch. On the day of the race, a big storm hits the city, and Shoki worries about Yang-chi, who was on her way to the swimming club. Just before the race starts, he decides to step back from the competition to look for her. Shoki finally finds Yang-chi and feels so relieved that she's okay. He gives her a big hug, tells her that his relationship with his rich girlfriend is over, and asks her to be with him again. Yang-chi seems happy but surprised and doesn't give him an answer right away. Yang-chi tells Shoki to go back to the swimming competition because it's really important for his future. She tries to protect herself from the rain, but Shoki notices a steel plate about to fall on her and rushes to save her. He gets seriously hurt, and Yang-chi takes him to the hospital. After he wakes up, Yang-chi accepts Shoki's love and admits her own feelings. She stays with him all day, every day for several months, and Shoki is super happy to have her by his side. Shoki gets out of the hospital and meets Yang-chi, who tells him she got a job as a fashion designer at a big company, which is like a dream come true for her. Their relationship has grown stronger despite all the tough times they've been through. A year after they started dating, Yang-chi takes Shoki to a wedding shop and gives him a box with 2 rings. She puts one on his finger and asks him to put the other one on her finger as a sign of a beautiful day and a promise to always be together. But a few days later, the doctor gives Shoki the final report on his shoulder injury, and it's permanent with no cure. He can't compete in swimming anymore, which shatters his dream. Shoki is really upset, and his personality changes. He becomes more aggressive. When Yang-chi talks about marriage, Shoki makes fun of it and says he's not ready to marry her right now. Then a few days later, Yang-chi's dad passes away, and at the funeral, Shoki complains to his friend and says he regrets leaving his ex-girlfriend who came from a rich family. He blames Yang-chi for his failure. But Yang-chi overhears everything and feels really hurt and guilty because Shoki blames her for his problems. Shoki tries to say sorry to Yang-chi, but she's carrying a heavy emotional burden. They decide to end their relationship, but she promises to keep supporting him in life. As time goes on, Shoki's condition gets worse after breaking up with Yang-chi. He becomes really sad and negative, losing his happiness and hope for life. Then one day, Yang-chi sends him a letter to say sorry. In the letter, Yang-chi feels sorry for Shoki and all the tough times he's been through. She regrets hurting him back in high school and not appreciating his love when they were in college. She believes she's the reason for his problems and his dream falling apart, even after they got back together. Yang-chi says that she'll always feel guilty and sorry, thinking that Shoki lost his dream of saving her life. After a few more years, Shoki manages to get his life back together. He slowly recovers from all the tough stuff he went through and becomes a swimming coach at a high school. At the same time, Yang-chi comes back from Italy after finishing her studies and becomes a professional fashion designer. Then one day, she invites Shoki to her wedding with another guy. On Yang-chi's wedding day, Shoki sees her again, and it's obvious that he can't help but admire how beautiful she looks in the wedding dress she designed herself. From a distance, Shoki thanks Yang-chi for everything, because she's the reason he's not lazy anymore. He's become a motivated person with a clear purpose in life, and he can live without Yang-chi now. Shoki wishes happiness for Yang-chi and her husband. In the bittersweet ending of the movie, he leaves the wedding wearing the shirt that Yang-chi made for him. It's a symbol of all the years they spent together, filled with happiness, love, sadness, struggles, and excitement that he'll never forget. So the moral of the story is love can be as unpredictable as a rainstorm, and sometimes it takes a falling steel plate to bring you closer together. So watch out for steel plates and keep your love strong.